but don't thank me yet. You don't know what's about to happen.
Welcome everybody to Epic Sketch Time. I want to thank Kevin, Ian, and Bill for showing up. After I do my introduction, I want each one of you guys to say your name, where you're from, and your occupation. And in case I don't have it down in the doobly-doo below, if you can say where they can find you on social media. My name is Mark Monlux. I'm a freelance illustrator in Tacoma, Washington. And I host this wonderful little group that was started by James Stowe, who is a cartoonist in Tacoma, Washington. In order of appearance, Kevin, you're next.
Hi, my name is Kevin Baculi, located in Las Vegas, Nevada, freelance graphic designer specializing in logo design and brand strategy. Thank you.
I am Bill Morse. I'm a freelance illustrator and cartoonist working out of Seattle, Washington, and I also do a webcomic called Rhapsodies.
Howdy, everybody. My name is Castruita. I'm an illustrator, cartoonist, and graphic designer working out of Arizona. You can find my stuff at enconline.com, and my webcomic is unfedartist.com.
Oh, I liked your cartoon for today, Ian, and I couldn't help wondering if that was a real brand or not.
No. I hope not.
I mean, it's funny. It's sort of like at one level, yeah, I'm sure you made it up, but at the other level, it came off like one of those critiques of really bad advertising strategies.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point, right? But yeah, I mean, it's spending the time on the logo and everything to make it look like an actual iPhone or Apple, app icon and stuff. I mean, the funny part was hopefully, just the. Well, I don't want to ruin it, but you know what I mean. It's not so much the corporate oversight, but just the stupidity. It's a stupid comic, but I like my stupid comics.
Sometimes those are the best.
Yeah.
So you can find me on social media at Mark Monlux on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook.
You're on TikTok?
Okay, the only thing I have on TikTok is a bunch of birds at my bird bath. That's about it. But yeah, I'm on TikTok.
I was wondering if you were going to be successfully guilt tripping me into another platform.
I was going to ask you guys if any of you have any success at all on TikTok. So far, I'm having pretty good success on Instagram. My Twitter feed during this whole drawing of this cat series I'm doing for October has garnished me a lot of attention on Twitter, more than I haven't had in a long time.
Yeah. At the moment, I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and I've been starting to experiment with YouTube. With middling results with all of them.
Well, you've been also promoting your Patreon page. I know that I have one, you have one, and Ian have one. Kevin, do you have a Patreon page yet?
I do, but it's not even set up. I just made it just because one day, and I didn't even bother. I was like, what do I offer people? I mean, I can offer people stuff, but haven't gotten to that point yet.
I should also mention that we're all Graphic Artists Guild members. But I'd like to know what other organizations you guys belong to. I belong to another group that Phil will mention, the National Cartoonist Society, the International Forum of Visual Professionals, the IFVP, and thank you, Bill. The CLAW Artists Guild, which is just CLAW, which stood for the Cartoonist League of Absurd Washingtonians. So, Ian, what groups do you belong to outside of the Graphic Artists Guild?
So I technically have membership, which just means I donated to the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. I I am a member of AIGA, which I think stands for American Institute of Graphic Artists. But I think they were trying to rebrand. So it's just like the Design Institute or something like that. But
It really depends on branch to branch, I think.
oh, it does. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So AIGA, the Graphic Artists Guild, and yeah, Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. I'd like to be a member of the National Cartoonist Society. I wouldn't mind being a national, what was it, illustrators?
Yeah, there's a National Illustrators. There's or rather the Society of Illustrators.
Society of Illustrators. Yeah, I think each of those you have to be like nominated, right?
Actually,
or like pass a test of like 3 questions and a fire rate challenge or something.
For the when I joined the National Cartoonist Society, you need to have 2 letters of recommendation, and you also a history of printed cartoons, and at least 50% of your income coming from cartoon source. But those requirements have changed within the last 2 years, so you may be able to qualify directly. They were realizing that they were putting forward a lot of hurdles that people couldn't make. Well, let's see, we have somebody new joining us. We're all so excited.
Is it somebody you actually know?
I'm trying
I hope so.
I'm hoping so too. I'm keeping a really close eye on this.
Hi, Mark. We only know each other on Facebook, but
oh, hi.
I think we have each other as Facebook friends, but I don't think we've actually met in person. So I'm Angie.
Hello, Angie. Angie, I'm going to have the rest of the guys do a roll call off again so that you can know everybody. But just know that we are being recorded. So in order of appearance, I'm Mark Monlux in Tacoma, Washington.
I'm Angie Bear, and I am in Tacoma, Washington as well.
Kevin Baculi, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Bill Morse, Seattle, Washington.
And I am Ian in Arizona.
Yeah, who were just talking about what other organizations besides the Graphic Artists Guild we were all members of, and getting to my term where I get to plug Cartoonist Northwest, which Mark forgot, but he's a member as well.
I didn't forget, Bill. I just wanted to give you a chance to plug it since you're the president of that organization.
Yeah, it's a nice little bunch of cartoonists, illustrators, animators, and whatever other possible way you can do visual narratives.
And you guys have the Cartoonist Northwest, or CNW, has 2 meetings a month, right? A drink and draw and a sort of like a speaker meeting on Saturday.
That's correct. Provided I can get.
So do you have anything? I know you're all done with October. Aren't we done with October?
Yes, we're done with October.
So
yeah, we had Stan last for October, and right now I'm still looking for somebody, but considering we have our elections on November, if there's any month I can get away with doing some sort of workshop, that's the one.
So I'm working on doing cat illustrations. What's everybody else working on?
At the moment, I'm brainstorming for a Christmas story, which is kind of this winter fantasy. As a matter of fact, I almost finished the flats for the one I was working on during Fandango, if anybody wants to see it. Just a second. Oh, you need to turn.
Let me turn on the screen share, Bill. Sorry about that.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh.
And, popping up yet? Come on, cooperate. There. So I think it's a little, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a little too warm so far. I was trying to focus on sticking to a three color palette as of with Stowe's usual examples, though I was also playing with some shade, which I think I need to redo. At the moment, I'm thinking of replacing the brown background with a lighter blue.
I think what you can do is the black lines that you have for keep the black lines for the descending rope or stand that the pipe's coming down with for the little kettle.
Right.
And also for the line going around the lady, and her little stool.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other black lines, I think, could be a toned color.
Uh-huh.
And that would, because right now you got a lot of things just really, really bouncing out from the background. All the colors are vivid at the same level everywhere, and it's making it look kind of flat. I think what you're trying to do with that shading was to create a sense of depth. But I think if you could break this into 2 layers,
yeah,
and then just have her in the forefront, and maybe just put like a tint or tone over the whole image to fade back, preferably a tint. I think a more pastel treatment on the background colors
right.
would bring her more forward.
Uh-huh.
I think you'll get a pretty good effect with that, or you may want to play around with that, or not.
Yeah, I think the main thing was it was sort of started as a sketch that I kept working on. So, but
Does anyone else have comments on it?
Is it part of a comic, Bill?
it's a concept design for a comic, but not an actual comic.
It's just a concept?
Yes.
Well, why are you putting so much time into it?
It was one of these ones where I was I was playing with it, and then the muse put me in a headlock.
Oh, well. Yeah, if it's just a concept, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, you're just building ideas, right? So
Yes.
Yeah, you could just walk away from it at this point.
Yeah, for the most part, that's where I am. But anyway, that's what I've been playing with.
I'm having to restart on one of my cat drawings. It's just not working.
Is that the kitten that you were working on yesterday?
Yeah, it was not working in the least. And I also have a tabby cat. It's the multiple stripes. I am spending too much time trying to capture the essence of the individual hairs rather than just the flat fills. And the look is varying too much from the others in the series. The one that I did for today worked out pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's got a lot of hairs in it. But you can tell right off the bat that I'm going to have to go back on this kitten. I'll show you where it's at. It's just
Yeah, that shadow or under the chin just as
well, those are areas that I haven't even colored. All the black are areas I haven't colored, but the colors are too contrasty to each other. They're all these fine little strokes. And I'm thinking that I just can't go in and rescue it. I need to go back in. The fact is that everything has a single little stroke where all the other ones in the series are nice, these nice fields of color with very crisp edges.
I've been seeing them. They're very nice and they have a very strong graphic feel. And I do agree with you. I think looking at the rest of them as a series, you're right. You are using a lot of individual strokes in that one.
So I think
I do like the series.
Oh, thank you so much.
I love cats, so you know.
Oh, if you guys will excuse me, I'm being called away by my wife. I wonder what's happening. I'll be right back.
Well, anybody else have work to share? I'm just lettering, so nothing really amazing to show off. Not that any of my other stuff is.
Oh, can we take a look?
Bill, I'm guessing you're already done with Inktober, right?
Oh yeah, I finished. I started early because of it's for a Patreon material.
Yeah.
So as far as other things to show off, that allowed me to start my the Clash of Kings challenge that I was looking forward to beginning.
Yeah.
Darn. So this is from the prologue.
How long you been doing Inktober?
I, as in the form of Inktober, at least officially 4 years, though I was kind of doing Halloween sketch challenges that weren't quite exactly Inktober for about 2 before that.
Yeah, and you've been doing challenges just like on your own for a while, right?
Yeah, they're good. I find them to be a very good exercise. It's not just for me, it's not just the drawing part, it's the manage to come up with a concept and compose it really fast thing.
So my wife couldn't resist telling me the juicy Tacoma gossip.
Is it too juicy for this program, or is it?
No, it's not too juicy for this program. But we've been doing a lot of walking since COVID hit. And I live in the Fern Hill district, which is the south end of Tacoma. And we typically walk about a mile or so away and then walk back. And within that radius, there's this one house where last month, we don't know how or why, but there's this big memorial in front of their yard because 3 people of that household died. Well, apparently last night, some guy completely high in a big truck hit a parked car and just crushed it just into one of those mangled, no nonsense messes, and then went into another yard and crashed there. And apparently he had been trying to avoid the police. Like, this family doesn't have enough. There's this devastation in their front yard now.
Yeah, that's awful.
So if you're curious, go to Facebook, and I think there's my wife likes to go to, I think it's called Compton.
The Compton Files.
The Compton Files, yes.
Yeah, I would guarantee you that's what it is. Because it's always them if it's some big drama like that, always.
And there was for a while there, we were really worried because there have been a lot of fires since COVID started, and they have been getting closer and closer and closer to our house. So, and there was a fire, or there were on Yakima and 83rd, which is, just down the street, not even half a mile away. There were 4 fire engines out, and apparently there was a basement caught on fire, this one apartment or this house, and they got it put out pretty fast. It was the one right next to or fairly close to the Fern Hill Library. And of course, we were wondering, Oh, it's all those homeless people who have camped out at the Fern Hill Library because there's a little wooded section behind there. Anyway, that's the juicy Tacoma gossip I have from the South End. What do you have over your neck of the woods, Angie?
Well, actually, I'm a little bit further south than you, so
Oh, you are.
that's actually close to my neighborhood. We're in Lakeland, so we're basically neighbors. So your drama is my drama.
Yeah, the only bit of drama that I had recently was I just happened to be in the same vicinity as somebody, a bicyclist, a couple of yards in front of me having an accident. So I was one of the people who was keeping an eye on him while we called 911 and making sure the paramedics could take care of him.
Hmm.
Yikes. Always scary.
So, Angie, you're familiar with the Fern Hill area?
Mm-hmm. I am indeed.
You know,
It's a nice little area.
And there used to be a private post office in that little mall area, and there used to be a mailbox drop there, right
Yeah.
next to Tibbetts and Little Jerry's.
Yeah. I've actually been to the post office when it was still active.
I had a mailbox there at that post office. I love that post office.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Well, they took away those two mailbox drops in the front when they closed down the post office.
Oh.
And so for a year now, there hasn't been a mail drop, but they just installed, I saw one being installed this morning right next to the, or in front of the bench that's in front of that little mall thing right there.
That's good. That's great. I love that little spot. It's like this just little hidden town almost, you know?
Yeah. So, and there's a, you know, that little VCR repair place, they closed up at the beginning of COVID and never opened up. But now they're going to turn into a barbecue place.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably going to be good for all of the restaurants in that little spot right there.
Yeah, it's. I think it's far enough off that Sean Tibbetts, you know, he's wishing the guy well because he's been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's different enough from everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. It's good to see new stuff coming in, especially with so much closing down.
We could go on and talk more about Tacoma, I suppose the other guys.
It's 5 o'clock.
I'm sorry, I had my my speaker on as a reminder. So what I think I'm going to do is kind of cheat a little bit on my cat illustration, throw the resource photo into Photoshop, posterize it, and see if I can get some more easier fill breaks to work from that. And then maybe choose a better color palette, because I don't, somehow I just went wrong with that color palette too. So Angie, what are you working on today?
I just picked something off of Reddit Gets Drawn. So I've just started sketching it out.
Nice.
So hopefully pretty quick here I'll have something that I can show. But nothing important, just kind of something I like to do. Just kind of fun to find lots of random portraits to work from, lots of different people.
Oh, is that the one that has a celebrity of the day for everybody to do a caricature of?
Reddit Gets Drawn is where anybody can come along and just post a portrait of themselves. It has to be either themselves or someone that they know. So you're not going to get them. The idea is to have it be actual real people that you can use as resources, and not just like, oh, hey, I found this cool photograph online, you know. But then you just get a lot of different artists drawing their take on that portrait, and it can be a lot of fun to see the different things that people come up with, the different ideas.
So another artist in the comment area, his name is Mark Brill. He did this political caricature that finally showed up on my doorstep of Steve Kirby.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And he's got his name down here, and you can almost make out what it says. I'm gonna have to talk to him about him actually spelling out his name correctly on public materials like this, so he can get some free advertising from it.
I remember the coaching session you gave him when that came up on Fandango.
Yeah. So apparently he sent in a bill to this guy, and Steve said, "You're not charging me nearly enough," and doubled up the amount that he charged him and sent him back a fatter check. So
I love that kind of client.
That's always a good thing.
So kudos to Steve Kirby. But I was asking my neighbor to give me a mailer, his mailer, because mine torn right here when it went through the mail. And then his also, actually I'm holding his tore in the exact same spot. And I'm wondering if it has something to do with how the postman, whether or not he had a block of them that he was just tearing off, or if this happened during the machine, because it's right at the height of an envelope.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if it was possibly catching on something.
I know that my small mailbox frequently absolutely kills flyers like that. It's almost impossible to take them out without tearing them.
This is the only political flyer I've actually hung on to since the start of the election.
Oh, lucky you.
No, I mean that I hung on to. I mean, all the others just in the trash. But
Yeah, I've been throwing mine away too, actually.
They're honestly pretty annoying, just the amount of them.
Has anybody else started getting text spam?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
oh
Mhm.
yeah, huge
For
amount.
some reason that kind of annoys me more than the emails.
And another one of the spam things that's been happening. First, my wife got hit with the Apple tech support scammers from this one number, and the calls they're coming from are rotating, but the number you're supposed to call back is the same.
Yeah.
And then the next day, a friend of mine, Doug Mackey, he gets hit with it, and I thought I was going to escape the net, but I didn't. Yesterday and today, I've just been getting call after call after call from these folks.
Oh man, I fell for one last year where it got by my filter because they were using one of the Apple numbers that I had actually saved because I was expecting a call back from one of the tech guys I had been talking to, and so I go in and they push all my buttons with the panic of how I've been hacked and everything, but fortunately they blew it by telling me to look up a certain web page, and when I looked it up to contact, and when I looked it up, the first article that Google gave me was the scam. Though I called up Apple's tech support right afterwards to make absolutely sure that I didn't do anything that would have left a hook.
One of the things my family has started to do is that we meet every 2 weeks on Zoom to talk about my parents, who are 85 and 95, and we have their calendar, and we've been organizing all their medical stuff because they've gotten to the point where they're forgetting why they made appointments or why they're renewing appointments or why they're paying certain bills. So we're keeping track of everything for them. And last year, my dad bought these vitamins online for my mom, and then that turned out to be a whole vitamin scam where they were just getting, oh, try this shipment of vitamins, and then getting billed for them. And you think he would have learned about from that, because instead of calling and canceling, that was proving to be too much of a trial, so he just canceled his credit card instead. But they just went after another one of his credit cards. So this time, apparently, he bought a coin online, or
Oh no.
or you saw a commercial for a coin, called up and said, oh yeah, I'd like to have that coin, and got into a similar situation of like a coin subscription thing.
Oh, is that the mint from?
I don't know which minute this is, but my brother Stan, they've been trying to deal with it, or rather he and my mom have been trying to deal with it by calling up, and they said, oh, we've changed our hours, you can only call at this time, and they try to call at that time, and they get the whole runaround. They say, oh, so-and-so's not available, can you leave a message and then call back at such and such time? And my brother Stan says, okay, I'm going to schedule a conference call with me and with Dad and the credit card company, and walk him through how you can just cancel these things via your credit card, but not cancel your credit card, because oh my God. Ugh.
Yeah, I had one where there was like some juice company that somehow kept billing me for some who knows what. And fortunately, I was able to cancel it on my credit card every single time, but it got to the point where I had to change my card on that one.
So I'm kind of curious. I never used to do Zoom with my brothers and sisters before. We would always just text each other. And do you guys find that you're using technology more with your folks, or are you just relying on the old phone calls still?
I have a regular FaceTime conversation with my mother.
Yeah, I just text and call my parents.
But I also use the phone with them just as much as well. I mean, for considering FaceTime, it's just a matter of when they happen to be, when mom happens to have the computer on for FaceTime to work. And though admittedly, in the case of my folks, my inability to reach them half the time is more of a case of them having a more interesting life than I do.
A friend, I've been getting lots of these. People sending me photographs of their cats. I've gotten about 300 people sending me photographs of their cats so far. So I'm working on a rate system for doing pet portraits now.
Uh-huh.
You should seriously consider just setting up a Patreon with cat portraits, and it's just like $10 a month.
That is an excellent idea.
Yeah, and you could just get in the queue, but or you know what, make it higher. Like, oh, you know, you could see the portraits for like $3, but if you up 1 month for like $10 or something, you know, I'll throw you into a queue and maybe select yours or something. I don't know. You have to figure that out. But
well, I'm discovering that I can easily charge $150 for a pet portrait when they ask me to do. That seems to be a nice comfort range. I've talked to other pet portrait artists, and that seems to be pretty much the going rate. And that's without a print. If they wanted a print, it'd be $200. But most people are perfectly fine with just a digital file.
yeah, it's just all going on social media anyway.
Yeah.
Can you do it within an hour or so?
Some of them I do within an hour. Others, like this stupid kitten, I've spent so many hours on this.
I was going to say, the last time I heard you complain about it yesterday, it was 4 hours. I would have.
Yeah, I've done 4 hours into this cat so far, and
Yeah, 150 wouldn't be enough for me. I'd have to charge more, but yeah, if the market is selling at 150, yeah, I guess you kind of have to figure out a way to streamline the process to make it.
oh, but you're
a good-
thinking of only the original art. I'm thinking of the licensing that I can do with these afterwards.
There's that. I
Yeah.
mean, are the owners of the photos granting you
No,
license
you
to the
don't
image?
understand. You do. Oh my God, I'm just going to have a spasm about copyright law right now. Okay. Unless you sign them over, the only licensing right the client has is whatever you give them. If you say, okay, here's a digital file, but it's for, personal use, just like a piece of artwork, they don't own the licensing right to that art. You own the licensing right. So unless you hand it over, it's yours. Just because they have the file doesn't mean they can do anything with the file.
Oh, that's true. I'm talking about the original photo, though. Like that Barack Obama presidential portrait, Hope or whatever, that was based on an AP photo, and
I
the
remember
painter
that.
got sued because
the
he said that he was
photographer-
inspired by it, but
Right.
he never paid the photographer for rights to use that image for his
Yeah.
artwork.
But the
So-
photographer didn't come to him and say, hey, can you do a piece of art out of this?
So you're saying that if you do that, you give away all your rights unless you stipulate them?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Wow.
remember when I was taking photography classes, we had it beaten into us to make sure we had a release form signed, and
So when it's a client, though, and you're saying, hey, you're hiring me to draw this, if a client came to you and said, here, draw this T-shirt that we're selling, you would draw the T-shirt that they're selling. I've done a lot of product illustration work in the past, and no one throws up a flag for that because it's for advertising. And that type of licensing is implicit when you're trying to do things like, say, packaging design. The advertiser knows that someone else is going to be taking a picture of that ad to put somewhere. Like if your stuff is appearing at Target, you know that Target's going to be taking pictures of your product and you want that to happen. It's not like you have a sign off on it, unless say that you're a named designer, and then you would. But no, if a client comes to you and say, hey, draw a picture of here's a really good example. A bank hired a mural artist to paint a mural on the side of the bank to make it look good. The artist still retained the rights to sell postcards of that mural, and also retained the rights to have reproductions made of the artwork. The bank got bought out by another company, and the new owner of the bank wanted to paint over the mural. And the artist says, no, you can't do that. That's a piece of artwork. And you would be damaging my copyright by going in and making it so that I couldn't do additional derivatives from this original piece of art. While that was being judged, oh, excuse me, I got to check this call. I'm expecting something.
Oh, pardon me.
yeah.
Well, it looks like we only have about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Anything coming up that anybody wants to talk about? Any webinars or things to check out? Anything
Well,
interesting?
what I always like to plug is if anybody is familiar with the illustration department,
Mm-hmm.
they have a free critique session every Thursday at 6 o'clock. Just a second, I can put the link up for them.
And have you participated in this?
Oh yes, numerous times. I attend it regularly, and I've had my stuff criticized, put through the ringer twice. I put that I had that octopus piece I was playing with. That one I put up.
Yeah. What was the response?
Pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, all of the I put in all the suggestions they gave, and it got a good thumbs up. All right.
And Kevin, are there any upcoming things that Graphic Artist Guild would like us to know about?
Sure. Designer's Corner tomorrow at 6 p.m. to 7
Yeah.
p.m.
I forgot to plug that. And then we also have on Friday, we also have the monthly art party. Which is
what happens with the art party? Is it just a Zoom call and everybody's drinking, or what?
It's a Zoom call and everybody drinks. Occasionally there's some games of drawing something really drawing games, but it depends on the party.
I guess this one would be like Halloween theme, right? Like people would be dressing up and stuff.
Yes, I'm sure it would be. Oh, that's fun.
We had a Halloween party last week.
Oh, you had it last week?
Yeah, it was last week.
Oh.
Next big thing that we're planning, November 17th, 5:30 to 6:30, is Zoom's Giving Recipe Exchange.
Nice.
So last social before Thanksgiving week. So again, this is November 17th, 5:30 to 6:30.
Yeah, I'm sort of not looking forward to Thanksgiving. It's sort of between me being stuck out here, the person that I usually had Thanksgiving dinner with dying of COVID.
Oh,
sorry to hear that.
And also not really wanting to go to a big social dinner anyway because of COVID. It's sort of a case of I might roast myself. I might experiment and roast a chicken for myself, but other than that, it's
Cornish game hens. There's a good small thing for one or two people, and they're nice because they're just little and they're perfect serving size.
Generally, I just get myself a broiler and cook, which I usually stuff with aromatics, and it's good for one serving and a week's worth of sandwiches. And I also make stock.
Well, since we're wrapping down, I'm just, if you're going to be able to see, I'm just sketching. She was doing aerial silks, but I figured I'd give her a little bit more something to go with the season. So she's hanging out on a moon. But
what's the subreddit again that you post this to?
It's just Reddit Gets Drawn.
Reddit Gets Drawn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. You'll see, you see people there's professionals in there, and and then there's people that have just hardly ever picked up a pencil in their life. So you see a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of different skill levels, and it's also fun to see people develop over time.
what I've been working on. It's kind of messy, but more of the concept stuff.
Oh, nice.
Essentially, the opening concept for this year's Christmas story is a caravan that's delivering raw materials to Santa's workshop.
Now, are those going to be woolly mammoths?
No, actually, they're woolly mastodons. I'm tempted.
I think they need to be more woolly.
I will not deny that one. This is a very sloppy sketch that I probably
Okay.
over.
But I like the direction this is heading in. You can get a lot of forgiveness if you by making a lot of furry hair on those.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, the thing that I'm obsessing about is I need to go back and look at a reference because I'm pretty sure that mastodons didn't have quite the large external ears that I have here.
You know, I think it would be more interesting if the yoke, rather than being tied around their middles,
Yeah.
is if it was a structure that was strapped to the top, their tusk, and then went over their back.
Oh, cool.
It would be a lot easier for you to draw, and you can get away more with drawing long hair and just having them look like what were those big hairy things in Star Wars?
Banthas.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that I remember that.
Really?
No, it was rather interesting because if you ever watched any of those saw any of those making of books, the banthas were actually elephants with hair pieces.
If you ever watch one of the original Tarzan films, oh, it's hilarious. The scene called, naturally they were set in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
but Tarzan was sending in a herd of elephants to break apart the pygmy village that had all the. Oh, this is so politically incorrect.
Oh, I think I saw that one. It was one of the ones where it ended where the villain is saying, well, what is it going to be, Tarzan? Do this or call the elephants? And Tarzan, call elephants.
And so the pygmy village was a bunch of midgets and whiteface. So that was terrible to begin with. And then the elephants were Indian elephants, but to make them African elephants, they tied large cardboard ears to them to make the larger ears.
That's most of those jungle movies I've seen usually don't even make the effort.
But it was so wonderfully, it's hilariously awful, bad, politically incorrect, and extremely racy because it was pre-code. I think that's the one where Jane was swimming nude in the river or something. But they didn't have the same actress. They actually had an Olympic swimmer go in as a body double. But
was this one of the Weisselmeyer ones or somebody else?
I'm trying to remember if it was Weisselmeyer or the guy who played Buck Rogers. What's his name?
Buster Crabbe?
Yeah, Buster Crabbe. Buster Crabbe, it's an amazing guy. He played Tarzan, Flash Gordon, and also what was the other space opera one?
Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers. Plus, he was also a B Western star. A man of many talents, Buster Crabbe. So who has the bird? Is that you, Kevin?
Yeah, I think it is. I have 2 lovebirds.
Oh.
Can't believe my mic could pick that up. Jeez.
It's a really good microphone. I like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to try something.
Are you playing around with backgrounds?
Yeah. Oh, is that actually showing up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, since I'm on my laptop, I
You need to screenshot that and make it your profile pic.
oh no, I don't want to be a space baby.
Actually, make that your profile pic and then make a word balloon that says, "No, I don't want to be a space baby." Right next to that. Hey, so I know usually we skip Epic Sketch Time on holidays, and although Election Day isn't technically one, are we having one next week during Election Day or no?
I was going to go. Let's see, what day is next Tuesday? Is the 12th?
Third.
It's the 3rd of November.
3rd of November. Why don't I go ahead and say that we're going to go ahead and do Epic Sketch Time next week. If not, I'll send out an email saying no. I might have to take my mom to a medical appointment, so that might cut into it.
It's so strange for you to be pondering that while you're in space. You're like, I might need to take my mom to a medical appointment on Alpha Centauri later on the next week.
Okay, I'm definitely going to come up with a better background. I want to thank everybody for joining us for Epic Sketch Time. We're going to be meeting, I guess, from 4:30 till 5:30 until I can make up my mind whether or not we're going to be doing it from 4 to 5. But since later works better for everybody else right now, I'm just going to say 4:30 to 5:30.
It's 5:30.
Thank you. Also, other events happening. There's the Graphic Artists Guild has Designer Corner on Wednesdays. Kevin, is that at 6 o'clock or 5?
6.
6 to 7.
Then there is Freelance Fandango on Monday morning from 11 to 1 o'clock, which is very much like this, but with a lot of people showing up. So I want to thank everyone who showed up today. This is a pretty good turnout. And then there is,
The monthly art party is on Friday.
is it this Friday?
I believe so.
I thought it was I thought the art party was last Friday with the costume contest. Was that last Thursday?
That was on Thursday.
That was last Thursday, and I mean, I can double check. I have the regular time. I have the regular time posted, but I probably.
But if you go to the Graphic Artists Guild Eventbrite page, you'll see a bunch of postings for other events similar to this one. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Take care,
have a good
everyone.
one.